okay, you could have made the decision to come and visit more often.
Mm-hmm.
I often said, Sunny visits her family. Why don't you visit me?
That's right.
And I still don't know the answer to that.
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
I had a very twisted idea of what dedication and purpose were, and I had a bit of a martyr complex, right? For lack of a better term, it's not like I'm speaking from some psychological viewpoint here.
Again, I know what that is.
Well, no, I'm just saying I don't know what it means in a psychological textbook. I've never read that. I'm just saying I had a martyr complex.
When you got one, you know it. I got one.
Right. I thought I was so dedicated. I was so hardcore about what we were doing, and I also was, and that drove me. That kept me there. The other half of that was that I was in an environment where the franticness level, right, was kept so high all the time that I always felt guilty for even thinking about doing something else.
Wow.
Right? Wow. That was what it was like, because I couldn't get away for even a day, like taking a day off, without, you better have your phone turned on, and right up until the last second that it was approved, you could have it rescinded because some emergency might come up, and some what we called a flap, some flap might happen, and then you'd have to be called back in to deal with it. And it wasn't like that never happened. There were days where that happened.
Yeah.
And so there was this palpable, real sense of impending doom at any moment that hung over my entire world. My entire life was this black cloud hanging over me all the time. Wow. And it made me feel guilty for removing myself from that environment, because we were saving the world, and it was constantly drummed into us that that's what we were doing, that there was nothing else more important than what we were doing, and that anything else that anybody else was doing in the world meant nothing.
So did you have different seniors than Sunny did?
Yes and no. I had a different for periods of time. I did. I mean, there was a period of time where Sunny was over. Sunny was my ex-wife, right? She was over at ASHO at another org for a while, working over there, and I knew though that I had this sort of different, this guilt thing. that could be played on me, And so, and also, third thing that I'm just now remembering is that it was so painful to get time off. It took so much work, and you had to go through so much. It's probably the closest thing I ever experienced to getting ulcers.
Wow.
Like, it was just stomach wrenching to me,
Chris.
right? To try to get time off.
Wow.
Because of this, I could almost see the hammer over my head, or the razor, or whatever you want to call it,
right.
that was just waiting to fall on me if some flap came up, some happenstance, right? Because life in the Sea organization, and especially in management, in church management where I worked at this time, was such a frantic series of emergencies, one after another. You never knew from day to day what was going to be coming, and it could be anything, and it could be from anywhere. It could be some order from Miscavige, some order from higher management, from RTC, from CMO, like all these alphabet organizations within Scientology that are all senior to me, and all have the power to send me to scrub dishes or clean pots or go to the RPF or whatever at any moment if I screw up.
Right.
Right? And so there's a very, very real threat level all the time. And then this frantic emergency-ness always being yelled at, right? Like you're just getting yelled at every day, right? Either your direct senior or some other person's coming in or some group of girls are coming in, like these teenage girls in the CMO who literally, I had 13, 14-year-olds like just ripping
Chris,
my face off, you know?
How did you stand it for as long as you did?
Because I really thought that what we did mattered.
Yeah. Well, I get
was
that.
convinced.
I
I
totally
was
get
so
that.
convinced.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I'm in the fun part of Scientology thinking that, and you're in the suppressive part of Scientology
the
thinking
completely
that.
horrible part of Scientology.